Hey guys, I want to thank you for downloading this recent episode from the podcast C's Get Degrees. Sit back, relax. We have a guest all the way from the East Coast joining the show, teaching us why she is the boss babe kitchen, why she is the mompreneur, and why she's putting on all this amazing content to grow her businesses. Yeah, I put an S on business. Some of you guys down south call it business. Sit back, relax, guys. We have Caitlin Wheeler joining the show, talking about how her faith in building a business in this part one episode, and then she's returning for part two, guys, teaching us how to build the business through TikTok. Yeah, you heard that right, TikTok. Once again, guys, thank you for this recent download. And if you have any free time, please go visit Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, or iHeartRadio today and give us a review and let us know what we're doing. And then all you swag lovers, go to etsy.com, C's Get Degrees, and visit all the recent swag. Thank you all, and have a good day.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I love this.
We
made it.
We did make
This
it.
is it. This is the life.
Two computer issues, two mics that are off. We're doing it old school with two iPhone cords. It's gonna sound like, at least on my end, with the tin can because I have a 5-year-old headset here.
It's okay. It's good to go back to our roots once in a while. Right?
Exactly. And I'm gonna do the old Ric Flair drop here. So we got the Boss Babe Kitchen, the mompreneur, the boss, Caitlin Wheeler. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I'm so excited for 2021, but also just excited. We still have so much time left in 2020. So, I've got a lot of things that I'm, working on, just improving and making better. Of course, my family, my son just got glasses yesterday. He grew he grew like a foot over the weekend. And then I've got new projects that I'm so excited about. So just constantly creating, that one of my first mentors was a Green Beret and his wife. And I literally got a crash course in how to run a business. And one of the things that I'll never forget that she said to me, she was like, I really feel like you're like us, Caitlin, which was a compliment at the time because they were self-made multimillionaires. She said, you love to create, right? And I'm like, yes, I love to create. There's just something so amazing about getting up every day and just being able to create whatever you have in your mind. And with technology, it's like there's hardly any limits these days. So
yeah, I'm gonna laugh on that one. Yes, and yes on the creative side of it, because you wake up, how do I want to word it? Someone's like, dude, you're different. I'm like, what do you mean you're different? He's like, you've been different since day one. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're not normal. And it means on the creative side of it. So it's like our brains are always constantly moving. And I'm
absolutely.
You can't tell right now because the coffee's not kicked in, but I'm wound tight and I get pretty hyper focused. So it's like I said, I've been up since, I went to bed a little late last night. So, but yeah, no, I can't sit still. I'm sure you're the same way, where your brain just pops. And all of a sudden you're like, where the heck did that come from? And it's what my friend would say, God drop.
I love it.
So
go ahead.
I was gonna say, you jump on. You're the guest.
I'm gonna ask because I know that you were like, when you said that you wanted to talk about our faith, I was kind of surprised because we're getting to know each other. I didn't really know that part of you, and just the fact that you're willing and eager to talk about that. A lot of people, that's off the table, right? Because you're not supposed to talk about politics. You're not supposed to talk about religion. You're not supposed to talk about sex and everything. And I'm like, no, let's talk about that stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we could go on days and days and days and days and days of this. I will tell you it this way. So I was baptized again in August. I lead with my faith. At times I still seem super confident and cocky. The reason for this, I molded into kind of like this hybrid business slash rock star guy, because I still have a lot of metal and 80s rock in my roots. So I still kind of wear a lot of black just to kind of be that different person. Um, just like, we were discussing before we hit record, I had a huge addiction issue. It started from way, 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 way back. And it wasn't one thing, it was many things. It was alcohol, pornography, sex, whatever. You can add it in there. What it is, the older I got, is I had a few deaths that occurred in the family, especially, grandparents. And in my high school, so I'm 35 in March. So in my high school, I'm starting to hit that age where you're starting to get some kids in my grade that, not in my grade, but like in the 3 grades that are starting to overdose, they're starting to hit cancer. There's, cancer starting to pass away. So you're starting to see some of your classmates pass away. And for me, I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired because I went through a huge divorce back in the day and just kind of spiraled out of control. So for me, faith is number one. I do get up in the morning and bow down right away at the beginning because each day is a gift. I usually tend to read something every night if I'm not really strapped and busy. Right now I got the Bear Grylls book going, which is actually phenomenal. I plan on doing Journey to Wholeness here in February once I get my shift changed. Redo the Alpha class, and I'm at a wonderful church, and me and you can keep talking about faith, but if you don't go through dark times and realize what you have and what foundation you have, it's you don't realize how blessed you are. So it's the things I have with the podcast, the speaking engagements, all the things that started just because my buddy's like, dude, start a podcast. And he was a real heavy faith-based guy. And he's like, dude, just get your foundation right and pretty much give your testimony. And after that, man, I can't even explain what happened this year. It's not me leading this, I can tell you that much.
Yes. I love that. I love it because a lot of times we can get caught up with, we were talking before about like the struggle being in the business world and being faith-based. I believe it's definitely a struggle because, I mean, the principle of money, money is a tool. And I think that God absolutely wants us to utilize that tool, not only to live our best life, but also to help others. But the love of money, right, is where you got to be careful. And I mean, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that the focus is money's everything, love money, self-made, right? In fact, I can't believe I said that a couple minutes ago because I'm usually really careful about saying that because I always I'm reminding my friend the other day, we were talking and I was like, listen, you have to remember that it's all through God. Like there's no self, right? Everything we're blessed with, everything you're blessed with, it's everything anyone's blessed with is because of God. So it's just like it's an interesting struggle.
You're not the only one, and the reason for this is that I think the further along we get in this journey is you can notice I have buddies, I'm going to keep their names out of it, but there's some that are very faith-based that they just go out, they keep getting money, they bring it in, they help out with the church, they're always there. It almost like a jealousy, and I don't want to use that term, but it's like they've got the financial freedom and they got out of the rat race to where they can free up their time. And they just continuously keep doing it, keep getting better, keep doing, and they're on mission trips, they're on everything with the church, they're living their faithful life. And they're enjoying it. They both have a smile on their face. She's homeschooling all of her kids. and I think they're even younger than me, but they put the time and the effort, and they know that they're blessed. And I have some other, close nearby people that they keep working harder, and they're like, I don't know why my girlfriend's leaving, or I don't know why this, or I don't know why I don't have many friends, and they always chase that happiness. So they're buying new toys, they're buying this, they're going on this trip, they're doing whatever it is we can add in there. And they're always going for that next greedy level. And it's like, dude, just get your money, get out and go donate it. Go, lately I've been a little bit more rougher with my mindset because I'm not helping out as much, just because of all the holidays and all that stuff. So usually I would have a routine where I would help out. Our church is Sunday night. So like if there's food left over, they're like, hey, go take it to the shelter or whatever. So like that part of it, I enjoy doing it. I have to watch it because the more I get in the routine, the more I totally forget about that.
Exactly. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So it's the happiest I am is when everything is just kind of even keel. And I know it comes to Sunday, and I know after that I have to make that stop there. And it just feels so good after you do it. And then don't even I personally don't care. I'll throw it on Snapchat as just say, hey, look, not a look what I'm doing. It's look what our church is doing. I really don't care.
It's part of your life.
Yeah. I really don't care about my, hey, look what Chad's doing. I don't need to know. It's my 20s sucked. I'll just say it that way. So like, I'm very happy to hit that reset button and restart, and at least doing it the correct way. So I don't have physically the house I want and the car I want and whatever, but I do know that everything that I have, like on the vision board and stuff, I understand their gifts. So like, he can take them away in 2 seconds. So if I get them, cool. If I don't get them, hey, I'm still alive.
Yes, I love it. I was just every night I read my children a Bible story, and I'm really blessed because like the publication that we have, it's kind of like the Bible for kids, so they can understand it with illustrations, but it always has that scripture. And there's a scripture from Matthew, and I'll get you the exact scripture if you want to put it in the show notes, but it's just talks about how no matter what, like you can't be greedy, because in the end, like possessions just don't matter at all. So it's like you're talking about, like there's things that we want, there's things that we desire and work for, but ultimately knowing in the back of your head that like in the end, they don't matter. So like you can't sell your soul for it. You can't compromise your integrity and your love for others for material things. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's
again, the struggle.
Yeah. And I'm a city boy right now, but I obviously have the boat and the Duramax diesel on there, and I have a Dodge Challenger. I've just always wanted to be that, and I'm a huge Metallica fan, but like Fuel, where you just fly down the highway doing 100 miles an hour, just cranking that song and just watching smoke. I mean, it just, come on.
Listen, please don't. Okay, don't do that to me. I am total. So when I was reading your bio and you said adrenaline junkie, I mean, totally me. I've never driven the motorcycle at 130, but I was definitely on the back when we were going 130, and that was like the most exciting time of my life.
I can, and I'm going to answer this. I cannot own a motorcycle right now because I know it's going to be about one day and I'll be dead.
Right. Exactly. And I can't go in the back of one because I have 2 babies that, I have to make sure that I'm around for them as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm weird. I'd rather jump and get air on the water than I will on land. So like, I'd rather do 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour on the water.
Yeah. I respect that.
And just go airborne and completely lose control in the boat.
But I feel like 80 miles an hour on the water is like 200 miles an hour on land.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Many times. I could tell you probably a handful of times last year that either I was in a boat that went airborne, or I did our boat went airborne. So I used to do tournament fishing. That was the thing I loved, when everyone was to take off one by one all the way down the chute. So like, we have a shipping channel here in Green Bay that you can only go like 3-4 boats wide. And when we would all take off, it would be like a race going all the way down, and guys would be jumping over waves and going airborne and whatever. So I've laid a 20-foot boat in between waves before, like laid just completely airborne.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's, my body is beat up at 34, and I'm fighting hardest to do yoga and working out and stuff to get it back going again. But
10X.
Speaking of
that,
that,
where we met.
Exactly. Right? Now you dropped it. I was gonna say, if you guys don't know, go visit 10X. Where was it? 10X Growth Con or whatever it is.
10X Growth Con is happening. It's happening. In February, January or February. So yeah, Google 10X Growth Con. Google Grant Cardone. Get into his stuff. He's awesome. I mean, him and his wife Elena Cardone, so inspiring. I was just listening to a clip with her this morning, actually. And, I just feel like, again, this is, everything that she says is, to me, like, so inspiring. She was talking about how she was actually the one that planted the seed in Grant's head for him to become a billionaire. She was the one who was like, listen, you were made to be a billionaire. Nothing to do with financial, just because of like who you are as an individual. You are so expansive. You're 10X.
Yeah.
And she planted that seed, and she was talking about how, when you were talking about not being normal, she was talking about how she had to not be normal because she had to be that rock at home, taking care of the kids, like holding down the empire while he was out 4 or 5 days a week, just hunting, right? And when she was talking, it's almost like they probably, I almost envision them like having this like empire, like kind of king and queen, like like role that they play. Like that like the world is their court and they're like the king and queen, and the way she talks is just very much like they're going out to get what's theirs and dominate. And anyway, she was talking about how most women would be like, why do you have to go out so much? Why aren't you home more? Constantly, like, maybe even mad at the man for not thinking about her and her children all the time. But if you're building an empire, how can you be thinking about your wife and kids at home? You have to be thinking about building the empire, expanding, going in and getting what's yours, slaying those sales, right? So it was very, very interesting. But on the other side, she was talking about pride and integrity. And I mean, one of the things that I know is like, pride is not a good thing. In a lot of ways, it's not a good thing. Maybe she was talking about the humble part of pride. I'm not really sure. But again, like, as entrepreneurs, we've got to be able to take the bits and pieces of, I think as faith-based entrepreneurs, we need to be able to like take the bits and pieces that serve us, that help us propel forward, help more people, and just know like, okay, maybe she's not as far along in her journey, and that's okay. But I'm going to take what I need from this, and I'm going to be discerning and leave the parts that I know, like, pride comes before the fall. I definitely don't want to be prideful. I want to have integrity. I want to be honorable, so it was just interesting to listen to that and to have that discernment. And yeah, but I love 10X. I love everything Grant and Elena do.
Here's my 2 cents on that, because my previous relationship, I did not have that person on the same bus. And relationship, marriage, whatever it is, like, people understand what it is, the ones that know me well. But
right,
you got to make sure everyone is on the bus, even with parents. And I'm going to say parents wise. So like, if she's in your house every day, she's going to call back to her parents and say, hey, dum-dum's doing this, or whatever words they want to put on your husband. If their parents do not see the vision and say, okay, hey, this is where I'm going, this is what I want to do, this is how we're going to do it, or vice versa, they're going to just keep hammering on her and then turn around. You're going to have like 4 hammers chasing you.
And how can you build an empire under those conditions?
You're not gonna.
Really, how could you be a billionaire or even a millionaire or even make $100,000 if you're constantly getting that energy?
And to be 100% correct, and this might come out a little rough, but ideally the opposite, if it's a husband or wife, whatever it is, they're going to lean towards their parents because that's what they grew up with. And if they're not used to kind of being different and kind of breaking away, they're going to pretty much fade back to the parents. So no matter what, the parents are going to win. So for me, that was my situation. And now 3 years later, I'm way, way better off because I'm doing everything I was supposed to not do at the time. So I'm happy, but that's the number one key I learned. Mind you, some other things, but they have to be on the same bus as you.
I love that. And I feel like, again, there's so many things. That's why I'm so glad that I have faith, right? Because like, I can't imagine not having these principles in my life. Like, I know that as the woman, right? Like, yes, I can be a boss. Yes, I can do those things and create things for myself, right? But ultimately, like, and I've said this before, and I piss a lot of women off when I say this. Ultimately, like, but I promise I'm not saying it to be like, this is just what I've learned from like growing up, making mistakes. Like, my job ultimately is to be the neck, right? It's to be the support to my husband. And now I don't have a husband. I'm a single mom, right? But when I do have a husband, like, I know, and I'm preparing to step into that role and just be like the best support that I can be. Like, no jealousy, patience. Like, what are all those things, right? Love is patient, love is kind, love is not boastful. Like, all those things, like, that's what makes it so when your husband is out, like, doing the things that he needs to do to support the family. And yeah, if you're the one out doing it, although I ultimately really believe that all of this mix matching that we've done with the women out and the men home and the men, we're confused, and it's confusing our kids, and our gender roles are, someone said this to me like a year ago and I was like, what? But the more I'm like, no, maybe he had a point about gender roles and how, like, maybe women were created to be the ones who take care of the kids, hold down the house, cook, clean, like that feminine energy. Like, they're there to like make love to their husband, like be sexy to their husband, like all that stuff. That's the role of a woman. And yeah, we can go out and we can build empires and do that thing. But ultimately, like, our role that I think would make us most happy if we really stripped everything away would be what we were created to be. And that's the neck, right? That's like the support, the one that takes care of, that has the children and takes care of the children. And I just think it's gotten like very confused and very mixed up. And I think that's why there's a lot of unhappiness. That's why there's a lot of divorce. Like, nobody knows what they're supposed to do. Like, women have masculine energy, men have feminine energy, men are dressing up like, it's confusing. Maybe we should get back to basics.
I was going to say everything's so watered down right now that no one knows what the hell's going on. Let's jump in right away and side hustle business. Let's go off the Grandpa Joe picture.
Yes.
So let's talk. Hey, some of you guys don't follow her on Facebook. Jump on and see the Grandpa Joe picture, and she just dropped a hammer on telling all you guys to frickin' be successful with your life. So go in depth on this.
So, first of all, just to give a little context, it was a meme. And Grandpa Joe, for anyone that doesn't know, is from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or is it Willy Wonka?
Well, when I did the play, it was Charlie and Chocolate Factory. So depending on how the movie's made, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So anyway, you could get the book, the movie, the play, whatever. There's Grandpa Joe, and basically, it's really funny in the movie because Charlie is this little boy who, his family's dirt poor. He is going to school. He's little. He's like 7 or something, 8, maybe 9, 10. He does the newspaper route, and he gives the money to his family, and he comes back to the house, and the house is, all rickety, and there's this bed in the middle of the house. Just picture this, with two couples in the one bed, and on one end of the bed is Grandpa Joe and Grandma Josephine, I think, and on the other end of the bed, in the same bed, is the other set of grandparents. And so
Grandpa George, I remember that one because I played that guy. So I don't
yes,
know
Grandpa George and Grandma Georgina.
Yes.
And they're bedridden, and they sit in this bed all day. And I don't know if they were, having sex. It might have, maybe they were doing the foursome. I'm not really sure, but anyway, Charlie works. This is explicit, right? We can talk like this.
Go fire away. I don't care.
So, wants to. So Willy Wonka puts out the thing, the golden ticket. If you win it, you get the tour of the chocolate factory. And Charlie is the poor little boy. He's never had anything in his life. His grandparents, 4 of them, live in the bed with the mom, and he just wants to get this golden ticket. Anyway, he wins it, and Grandpa Joe jumps out of bed to go to the chocolate factory with him. So, and then he ends up winning the chocolate factory for himself. So anyway, that was totally a spoiler. You got to edit in spoiler alert. Sorry. So the point was that the meme was like, listen, happy holidays to everyone except Grandpa Joe, who was literally bedridden, but jumped up like a motherfucker when, it was his turn to go to the chocolate factory. And when I saw that, I was like, oh snap, that is like all of us lazy MFers. Like, because here's the deal. We have so the average person, right, in America doesn't have $500 in savings. That means that when a $500 emergency comes up, this, right? You see the memes on social media, people shoving it down your throat, like, get a side hustle. But see, nobody is going to go get a side hustle until they attach like the reason why to it. But if most Americans don't have $500, which means that if a $500 emergency comes up, they don't have the money on hand to just take care of it. Why do you think we're so stressed? Why do you think most people are on some sort of antidepressant? We're overweight. We don't sleep. We're and not because we're hustling, just because we're up scrolling TikTok and watching Netflix, right? Netflix and chill. I was so happy when that whole thing came out with the Cuties movie, because I was like, oh gosh, maybe they'll cancel this whole Netflix and chill culture, because honestly, if you just put a focused hour a day, that's what I tell the moms that I help. I love to work with moms. I tell them, if we can just get you focusing 1 hour a day, doing these certain activities that I will teach you how to do, right? And there's all kinds of things. You don't have to work with me. In fact, I probably, I'm very picky who I work with. But my point is like an hour a day that someone's going to teach you how to do some very simple activities on your phone to make some money, so that when that $500 emergency comes up, because it's going to, you have that money. That's what we got to get. Everybody should be doing something on their phone, whether, like you said, Chad, it's a Etsy store, whether it's network marketing, which was my first flow of income, whether it is Forex trading, whatever it is. Maybe you're going to be an affiliate. Maybe you're going to do whatever it is. There's so many different things out there. Real estate, Airbnb. But everybody, there's no excuse. There's no excuse why you shouldn't be doing something.
And I'm going to put this up here, and some of you guys, this is audio. You see this little black thing, it says iPhone on there. You can do whatever you want in your life in a $300 device, $500 device, or even hell, $1,000 device, depends on which model you got. So you can be doing exactly what I saw guys do this last summer, sitting in the middle of the mountains in Colorado in their own little travel van going, hey, dude, I'm still side hustling. Don't worry about it, but I'm hiking today. Why? Because you have cell phone service in the mountains.
I think there's a lot of people that like their job, right? But there's a lot of people that don't like their job, and they complain about it, right? And just know that if you're not happy, money's not gonna, getting a side hustle, money's not gonna fix it. Okay, if you're not happy, there's a reason inside that but by opening up your mind to, okay, wait, maybe I'm not going to quit my job. In fact, I don't suggest that you quit your job. Keep your job, be the best employee you can be, do the side hustle thing until you're making 3 times what you make at your job. Then you can quit, right? All these people that talk about retiring, let me tell you the real deal, okay? Their husbands are out working. They're retired because their husbands are the ones paying the bills anyway. But anyway, that's a different topic for another day. But open your mind to that. Start getting around people that can help you, that can mentor you. They're going to encourage you to do the personal development, which is going to encourage you to pick up, the books and start. And that's what's going to help. That's what helped me pull myself out of. I was an addict as well. I don't talk about it ever because I don't want that to be my story. I don't want to carry that with me, right? Actively, like, that's behind me now, right? I overcame that. But doing the personal development, getting around these different mentors, that's what pulled me out of that like chokehold that, was on my life. So open your mind up to that because there's no excuse why you shouldn't be doing it.
And I'm going to add in 2 words here, all in. And the reason why I say all in, this is my theme for 2021. If you're not afraid to either go bankrupt trying to make yourself successful, or the other word, afraid of selling everything in your house except for maybe a handful of things to make yourself go, and then that means you're not all in. And a friend of mine asked, she goes, do you have a retirement? I'm like, no. She's like, do you have any toys and stuff growing up? I said, no. She's like, why? I'm like, I sold it all, or I emptied my retirement account. She's like, but that's your retirement. And I know she's a listener. Me and her already talked about this last Sunday. And I'm like, if you take everything away in your life, it forces you to make it, right? She's like, yeah, because you have no option because you have to make it. I'm like, exactly. And then she just stopped. She's like, what? I'm like, if you're not all in trying to make it, you're going to be like, hey, I still want to be an employee. And obviously, yes, I am an employee. Yes, I do have a pension. I really don't give 2 shits what my place has. I got out of my industry with my college degree. I went into a place where I know I can pay my bills and I know I can punch in and punch out, which is manufacturing. The reason for this is I can leave my stuff at work to where I'm still energized to come home and side hustle. And everyone's like, well, you left insurance, you left agriculture, whatever. It's like insurance is 24/7. If you don't have enough energy to be at home, constantly going through clients and all that stuff, you're not going to have enough energy to build a side hustle. So I made a gut check move to go into something that it's not simple. Okay, I have the hardest job in the place, but to me it's simple. Where it's a physical job, but yet mentally I'm strong enough to where I can do whatever I need to do at home. Because the mental game is actually way more than physical game.
When you realize that, what you just said, everything changes. When you realize that mindset fixes everything changes because you're in that moment you realize, oh shoot, I am responsible for exactly where I'm at. I can scroll off all the outside influences, and yeah, that makes it tough. But ultimately, right where you are standing right now, good or bad, you're responsible for it. What if, like you just said, all in. And a lot of people think that means quit the job, go all in on the side hustle. So I think what you're saying is really important for people to hear, because I think one of the biggest mistakes Jim Rohn said it, right? He said, I'm working part-time on my fortune, right? I'm working part-time on my fortune and full-time on my job, right? Pretty soon I'm going to be working full-time on my fortune and part-time on my job.
Yep.
And that's because you've got to have that money coming in while you're getting it going, right? So if you can just, like, when you come home and after you've done your physical manual labor job, right? Like, how do you I time block the time, right? Like, I have three I call them like power hours a day, right? So in that hour, like, I'm super focused. Like, what about you? What do you?
So typically I work at 2 to 10, and I'm going to start from the night into the morning just because that's how I operate at times. So I'll get home at work at 10:30, kind of just get the coffee going, just make sure everything's going for the morning. And then ideally, if I know I am all prepped for the morning, I will turn my screen on and start jumping in day trading. If I know and I'm going to use this term, if my podcast stuff is done and edited to where I just need to upload it on Friday, I will turn and I will start day trading at 11 o'clock at night till 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's 2 hours. So like, I know for sure, no matter what, typically on my typical 2 to 10 schedule, I'm in bed by 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Just depends if I got anything going. From 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, yes, there's going to be some slacking at times, but I'm day trading or night trading. So I'm in the Forex market, making sure, if I can pull a trade or not. If I can't pull a trade, I will be editing a podcast. If I'm not doing something like this weekend, I have a speech engagement. So after we're done with this, I'm hanging out with some friends tonight, but tomorrow night, it's going to be focusing on the speaking engagement. Saturdays, focusing on the speaking engagement for Sunday. So I have a YouTube channel I got to prep for. I got a speaking engagement to prep for, to where I just take one thing at a time and go through. But typically from 10:30 when I get home to 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning's work, wake back up at about 7:38, work out for an hour till about 10 is pretty much my cutoff line for working out. And then I'll come back in and I will either do podcast. So like, I'll come home at 10, quickly make lunch or get lunch situated. I will meal prep just for time wise. Typically in the morning, it's a podcast. I'll record on Zoom, or I'm on Zoom calls for other stuff. And then I will have trading going in the background. So if I know I don't have any stop losses, or if I know I'm not doing any trading, I'm super relaxed like I am right now. I have no plays going today, so I don't need to be bouncing back and forth. Trading is so focus dependent that I can just, flip a switch like that and you could be on the red, to where I usually typically get the big business stuff done and then I will trade after. And right now I'm trading with a small account, which I know I can use leverage next year. I have 2 more weeks to go here with, there's 2 beliefs I'm having here. My taxes are dirty enough to begin with. I don't need to add any more clutter to it because I have 4 different firms I got to dig through. So I'm keeping it. I know we're only like 2 weeks to go. So I'm not doing nothing. I am not starting new paperwork just for the sake of that. Come January 1st, though, I will be going to 2 different brokerage firms for that. So right now I believe in, if you can't make your small account profitable, how can you do it with a big account? So first take care of your small one, learn your structure, learn your foundation, and then jump over the fence.
And by the way, that is such a golden nugget. And it applies to, not to keep harping on this part-time, full-time thing, but a lot of people believe this lie that, oh, if I just was doing this full-time, I'd be successful. If you can't do it part-time, if you can't make it happen in an hour or 2 a day, what do you think is going to happen if you've got 8 hours? You're going to be scrolling. You're going to be watching. Trust me, I've done it.
Oh, I know I'll be doing it. That's
So
why I'm gonna.
that's such a lie. That if I had no, all you need is that hour of focus.
Yeah, and if you look at everyone, and I'm gonna use you for example, you're not doing one thing, you're doing multiple things. So like every entrepreneur I know, even guys that are doing physical labor, they're doing like 5 things to make the bills. Yes, they're really successful. They're over 6 digits. They're doing well. They've been in it for 10 years, but they're doing multiple things. They're not, hey, I'm not framing a house. I'm doing roofing. I'm putting on siding. I'm doing this. I'm, laying dirt work down, whatever it is. They're side hustling in that window of construction to make sure that's fine. I have another one who does construction and roofing, but during the winter he's doing snow plowing and whatever stuff. Yes, he will call us up and say, hey, dude, we got to move some trees. All right, cool. Come on down. What is he? Professional side hustler. Why? That's what he does for a living. It is what it is. They're over 6 digits a year. They're enjoying what they're doing. They have their freedom. But yeah, they will work 30 to 50 hours a day. I think he worked 65 hours straight in 2 days to get rid of some snow. Like he just kept going because we got blasted. When was it? A couple of years ago, and I think you get out. You're in Connecticut, right?
Yeah, my dad used to do the snowplow thing.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
What was it? 2 years ago when you guys got that 30 inches like we did?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to keep track because I don't go outside when there's snow. No, I do. I go sledding, but
yeah. So he did. I think he said it was 62 hours straight with no sleep.
Wow.
He's like, I would turn around. He's like, I went through a case of Red Bull, and he goes, I don't even remember what the hell I did after 30 hours. I'm like, how do you do it? He's like, dude, you just jump in and go, which I get because I've been on and off farms before. I call it tractor mode, but your brain gets so focused that you're just tunnel vision and you're like, what the hell just happened?
The Red Bull helps.
Yes. Yeah. So it's,
careful with those energy drinks, y'all. Be careful with them. Everything in moderation. I'm
not even going to show you what's above my fridge right now. I got C4 Ultimate workout, pre-workout, and some other fun stuff. But
listen, I can do 2 or 3 Red Bulls a day and 1 or 2 bangs a day, but I just, everything in moderation.
Exactly. Well, it's 10 after 11 and time is limited for all of us. So I'm going to honor it. So tell everyone where we can hit you up. And I know we did not go through half the things we're going to talk about, so we can have you back.
Okay. All right. Okay. Where can you find me? Facebook. Let's hook up. My name's Caitlin Wheeler. How about, can you put the links in the show notes?
Yes.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram. Everything's at Caitlin Wheeler Official across the board. You got to have me back because we have to talk about TikTok.
Yes. One thing we didn't even touch on today.
We must, because TikTok is about to, it's going to take over. I mean, Facebook's dealing with some heavy stuff right now in Congress. It's getting messy. We don't need any of that. So TikTok's going to take over. So yeah, find me, Caitlin Wheeler Official on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can find me at the hashtag Boss Babe Kitchen. And I can't wait to connect with everyone. You know what I'm going to do for you, for your audience? I'm going to give my cell phone. Text me. Don't even text me. And then I'll figure out how I can best serve you, right? 860-857-6728. 860-857-6728. Text me, say, hey, I can't wait to connect.
Yahtzee. All right, I'm done. Thank you very much. We're going to keep rocking and rolling. We'll have you back for part 2.
Thank you so much.
All right. See ya. You have a good one.